Hey guys, Strixon here from the Forgotten Adventures, and I'm here to show you my new set of map making brushes for Clip Studio Paint. If you're not familiar with Clip Studio at all, I made a video for initial setup and how to import the brushes earlier. You can find the link to that video in the description, so go check it out if you're interested after this video. So let's jump straight in. What I did here, as you can see, is I just put 4 different textures down, so we have roughly the same 4 squares to show off different brushes. And I'll just go through every brush that's included in the basic brush pack that's available for everyone to download on our Patreon. These textures are also available. You can just go there and grab it completely for free. And okay, let's just start. So I'll lock this so I don't move it by accident. And this is our first new brush, Cliff, that's supposed to go on a grass texture. You can see I can just draw cliffs however I want. Next up, thin cliff, same thing. Much easier than dealing with the tiles, right? And of course you can do stuff like this as well. You can go thin or thick, depends on the pen pressure, but you don't have to have a graphics tablet or anything like that for these brushes, because each brush can be modified to work with a mouse. So I'll just quickly grab my mouse to do something like this, and as you can see, the ending and starting isn't really going thinner. There's easy fix for that. You just have to go to the double wrench here, start and ending, enable it, and click here brush size. You can do this by percentage if you want. This. Now, as you can see, I'm doing this with the mouse and it looks almost as good as with a pen. Obviously I don't have as much control, but it does the job. I can use these brushes with a little bit of thing in the settings. Okay, so back to the showcase. We have this brush and small grass. Well, now we have the same thing for different texture, so I'll just make a new layer, and as you can see, this is kind of a cliff dirt. Same thing, similar, rather. See, it's slightly different. You can also use the dirt ones on the grass, that also looks pretty good. Next up we have something for a sandy beach or deserts. So we have a big cliff, thin cliff, small sand, ridge, however. And last but least from elevation is cliffs, the caves. Something like this. Actually, let's do something like this, and you will see why later. But this also works with a thin and small cliff. See? Alright, these were elevation brushes, so all the cliffs and bridges. We also have rock making brush here. Make sure you have black and white selected. And I can just make a rock like this, for example, or I can change the size to, let's say, 100, make a smaller rock. So, or even on top of this one. 120, okay. Now what I can do is just take the middle of the rocks and expand the selection so it's covering the whole thingy, and drag the seamless rock texture from our pack to this selection, and as you can see, this I messed up, sorry. I'll just this, and there should be a problem. So again, drag and drop, and as you can see, now I have a rock, and I can do basically any shape you want out of this with this brush. Okay, we can move on. We also have small stones brush. This basically scatters small stones. As you can see, you can scatter them wherever you want. I have two versions of this brush because they are slightly different. Whatever you like the most. And also medium stones. These are slightly bigger ones now. And move on. So this was elevation. I'll quickly get rid of these because I won't in them anymore. And we can get rid of this as well. Okay, cool. All right, we can move to the second category, vegetation. The first brush is Bushmaster. You can use it to make, well, bushes. And just pick the first color black and the second color whatever you want the bush to be. And don't forget to change back to the first one, the foreground. And now I can just draw bushes wherever I want, so like so. And I can even create a layer above this rock, and bushes like this look pretty cool. Okay, and that's it. You can change color, like I said, so I can do a red brush here if I want to. And that's it. Pretty simple, quick, no hustle. To add some depth to them as well, what I like to do is use a leaves and twigs under them. So let's pick same color, green, and make a layer that's below them, obviously, because under the bush. And I can just scatter these leaves with this brush under the bushes a little bit, around them, and then small twigs, same thing, just scatter them around just to add a little bit of clutter on the ground, and it looks pretty well. And as you can see, I'm zoomed in like to 100% now. So this is all pretty high resolution. Actually, you shouldn't have any problems with blurry images or. All right, next up, grass brush. You can use this to kind of break the texture and add a little bit of depth again. So just make a new layer, and you can basically draw like grass. So, okay. Next up, we have tree stumps in the form of a brush. What this does is basically takes all our tree stumps assets, and each time I click, it will choose randomly from the selection of the assets, rotates them and resizes them randomly. So I click here, here, whatever I want, and each time it picks random tree trunk or stump and rotates it and resizes it a little bit. You can change the size here. These are basically the giant stumps, so you can go up to 2000 if you want, and then you will have giant stumps like this. So that's pretty cool. But if you want normal sized trees, get to around 250. And if you want to make trees out of them, just use the next two brushes. So first one, just go over, I recommend new layer again for everything basically. Just go over the tree stumps with a branch of shadow, and as you can see, I just click on the middle of every tree. It creates a shadow of the branches of the tree. And to make a new layer, you want to set this one to like 35 opacity up here in the layer menu, and go to tree shadows and basically go over where you want the tree to cast shadow. And you can make trees pretty quickly with this. So, and that's pretty much it. Pretty quick scene in a couple minutes. And okay, we can move on. I recently released the gravel paths. I also made it into brush. So this is a thick and thin. So if you want, for example, a thin path that goes around this cliff, I can just paint it like so, and I'm done. I have a thin path up there. We can grab thick, for example, and do like whatever, right? No problem. And I have a thick. To add a little bit more depth, you can grab road tracks. I like to set it at soft light, the layer itself, and just drag some road tracks along the road. It looks like it's traveled. And maybe drop opacity. Looks great, in my opinion. And on this one we can add some footprints. So size a little bit, and again, new layer. Also soft light is good for this one, and as you can see, I can just draw. So and there we go. Pretty cool, right? And next up, what I want to show you is what you can do in terms of caves with these brushes. So let's make a small cave in this corner where I left our cave floor texture. And to start off, I'll go to elevation, cliff cave, and I'll just make a new layer here, and just make do perfect. Okay, this looks good. I like this. Okay, I'll just get rid of the rest of the texture that's outside of the cave. That will be outside of the cave, so make much sense. All right, cool. And now what I can do, I can make a new layer. Pick a thin cliff cave and go in opposite direction, and basically go around. And let's say I want entrance here. Okay, so and we can make an there. So make this into a small cave. So okay, great. And so it's not just an open space. Let's add something. Okay, looks cool. Now I'll just select inside of this and maybe this part. Expand the selection. Pixels. Great. New layer below it. And bucket with black color. This will create the effect that it's basically a wall, as you can see. And I like to go brushes, caves and dungeons, cross hatching, white, or rather color pick something close, we are going to paint, so I'll just pick slightly gray color and make a new layer and just go around this edge. So you are certain that it's a wall. Like that. I'll leave it as is. And you basically have a cave. Now you can make cave entrance pretty easily here into this cliff. I'll just go to black pen, black color, okay, and I'll make a new layer, clip it, so I can't go over. I can only paint on this this cliff, and I'll basically just increase the size, and I'll just do something like this. Reduce the size and just go around the edges so it's not as perfect. Couple. Okay, I pretty like that. Now I'll go back to the cliff itself and to soft airbrush. Pick a transparent color. This is basically eraser. With any brush you can pick transparent color and it will act as eraser. So I want to erase like a bottom of this, so it's not, there is a nice transition going there. As you can see, it already looks pretty good. So I'll do that and finish it off. I can go back to our texture and make it go out on the entrance a little bit. And that's pretty much it. And what I like to do as well is basically pick inside of the cave. So I'll just go to lasso tool and make a selection around the whole cave and go to make a layer that's on top of everything and just bucket with a black color, deselect and make it a soft light. And you can put it actually below this. This will create a nice border cave entrance inside of the cave, and yeah, to set it as soft light if you are making a map that's outside and has a cave in. So you can see the distinction, what's inside, what's outside. And soft light, yeah, and you can make it like lower opacity if it 80. Looks good, my opinion. And then it's just up to you. What are you going to do with it? You can place some objects from our assets in there, some torches on the walls and stuff like that. Or we have this bones brush that basically scatters bones on the ground, so that's pretty fun. You can see. I'll get rid of the soft light really quickly. So as you can see, I can just scatter bones around, or if I scatter too much, I can even make a bone pile. And last thing I want to show you is our coast brushes. Not many, but in combination with our water texture, you can create some pretty nice looking beaches. So first you can straight up draw a shoreline with this brush. So whoops, around. This is better. As you can see, pretty nice shoreline, and now I can just also make a selection and put a water texture below this one. And as you can see, I have nice transition from water to sand with foam and everything. Also, there is a foam brush that you can use, and to add waves, so around. I can do this. And now I have pretty good looking beach in like what? Well, 20 seconds. And what I like to do is also make a new layer below everything, basically just above the sand texture. You can even clip it if you want. And go to any brush. I like to use this one. So just special. You can do the same with a soft. This is just a little bit rougher. Just go around. Around the shoreline, like so. And I change this to soft light again. And as you can see, this creates a sort of wet sand effect. And I can just draw some palm trees. And again, make a new layer for palm tree shadows and just play top and reduce this to like 30, like we did with the trees. Alright guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed and I at least piqued your interest in Clip Studio and my assets or brushes. If you want to check it out, links to downloads are in the description. You can find the brushes and textures on my Patreon for free. You don't have to pledge anything if you don't want to. And Clip Studio you can download in the description as well. There is a link. They have a 30-day trial, and after that it's one-time purchase of $50. But they go on sale like twice a year for 50%, so keep an eye out for sale. Or maybe you can win a copy from me, because I'll be doing contests each month, and one of the prizes is Clip Studio license. There is one contest going on right now, so be sure to check it out on the Patreon as well. Everyone can join. It's this month's challenge is make a battle map just with my assets. That's all there is to it. So everyone can join, and you might win a Clip Studio license, or if you are the best, you will get a graphics tablet, XP Pen G640, I believe. So check that out if you're interested, and I hope to see you next time. Bye guys.